Krunchy. Stays crunchy. Milk.
Already better than last time because the show started without fucking up and crashing. Let's out here. Let's go, baby.
The background you have up right now, is that like one of those tarps that like we would play with in gym class where the kids would do like and then the one would have to run underneath before it came back down?
That tarp you speak of is a parachute, and I believe that's exactly what that is. Yes, I believe that is a parachute. So
fucking semantics.
No, one can save your life. One can maybe save your roof. Here's the difference. It's Pride Month, so if you're watching this live or later, you know what I'm saying, it's also the good. We have our Pride logo back up, and I changed the background. I thought it looked nice. And so, what the good word, people. We back in this bitch again. My apologies for not having a show this week, unless you are, of course, a patron, and you got a new We Tried today. Well, that is literally processing right now, so you'll have a new We Tried shortly, but you, my free folk, you didn't get nothing, and that's nothing to it. I was down south last week, which I'll talk about when we get around to some tea time, and I just didn't get the opportunity to do a show with my family like I had wanted to, but that's cool. It happens to the best of us. All kinds of tales to tell. If I can remember everything, I'll tell you about that here shortly. It's a good time to be had. But as we start the show right now, I was reading a story this morning and then listening to a bit of a video, watching the video, listening to it about the Bengals and their defensive ends or defensive tackles. Either way, defensive players who they ain't paying right, or in one situation trying to fucking come with a new contract of the weirdest sort. And I'm just like, what is happening in Cincinnati? And what I heard and read on was that they for their draft pick, they rookie in this situation. The Bengals are the only NFL organization to basically not fully insure their rookies. And so he was like, bro, I'm not practicing without without a contract. And then, of course, so when he says that, they try to give him a contract that basically has these default clauses throughout it. And basically it says if you hit this one default clause, you have defaulted all the other things that you have added in your basically your other bonuses in the contract also default. And it's the first time they're trying this contract out. And he's like, nah, bruv. So they ain't trying to pay they new dude. And then the guy who's been there for a stretch, one of the best, their best defensive player, they just ain't. It's like, nah, I ain't giving them no money. So I always think that the Browns be browning, but the Bengals seem to be bangling and bungling in a way that's so interesting to me. Are you up on this? Have you talked about this with your clique and so forth?
No, not really. Like the main football talk lately has been the Brown Stadium stuff, and that's just for trolling purposes mostly. Otherwise, like we're firmly in the NFL offseason mode. We're like a lot of shit like this going down. We don't care.
I love shit like I love sports for something for I love sport in general for shit like this, and like for the Pacers somehow being ahead in this series. How the Panthers of Florida, the hockey team, Florida hockey team, which makes no sense because, you know what I'm saying, already it makes no sense, is out here stomping a mud hole in the Canadian hockey team, and it just makes no sense, you know what I'm saying? And I love watching the women play basketball and so forth. It's a fun time for sport. Summer sport is very interesting. Not quite summer. I guess late spring, almost summer sport is very interesting. And like I said, that popped up because, you know, a lot of these NFL teams are in the middle of mini camps and so forth right now, and so I'm just like, that's wild. That is wild that the Bengals be on such nonsense. But again, we gave a $250 million guaranteed contract to a known sex pest. So
alleged. I ain't trying to get sued.
Hey. He came out of pocket for those women. I'm going to go with...
A settlement is not an admission of guilt.
I'm going to go with that is enough of an admission for me to call him a sex pest. I didn't call him a rapist because I don't think anything he did rose to that.
Let it be known that the views of T do not necessarily reflect all of those who are on the podcast.
Again, if I'm not mistaken, none of the women accused him of assault. They just accused him of tomfoolery of the penile variety. And so, like I said, sex pest, which we're the certain ways, but it fits like a glove. Anyway, yeah, the Bengals on some bullshit, and love that for. And then Aaron Rodgers, of course, signed with the fucking Steelers, and Myles Garrett said, "Oh, it'd be cool to add him to the graveyard." Now, if you're local, that's hilarious because Myles Garrett has he does a graveyard during Halloween. That's what he means by that. But for motherfuckers who don't know, they probably were like, "Oh my God, Myles Garrett about to go." What's the dude he hit with the helmet? Mason Rudolph. Who, as it turns out, was a Trumper and probably should have got hit with a helmet. Just saying.
Once again, tease like those of us who are also on this podcast.
I trust that man pulled his helmet off and was swinging it for a reason, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, I'm jumping over to...
I believe that in his heart, he felt justified in his actions.
Oh, my man was mic'd up that day, if you recall, and they never released the tapes. So something got said, baby, and they kept that shit like, ooh, let's not have that out there in the streets. So someday, one day, somebody gonna be working inside that NFL situation and be like, oh, he did say it. I knew that nigga did. I want to look at these damn NFL news. Let me jump over to, oh my goodness, ESPN. Let's see. Travis Hunter getting reps at cornerback and wide out. No excuse for the Bengals not to get it done. Shamar Stewart is their rookie, and Trey Hendrickson is there as their vet. Who both of these men they try not to pay. One of them they try not to pay, and one of them they trying to put on to give them a bullshit contract, which is basically the same as not paying them. So we'll see how that all plays out here in the near future. And people are like, "Yo, has this soured you on the organization?" He's like, "No, I'm not saying that. We could have a long future ahead of us. Just right now, this right here is some bullshit." Pat McAfee, who I'm not a great fan of, but kind of knows his shit, was like, "Oh shit, I thought this man was on some nonsense." Then I hear him sit and rap and talk to people, and he like, "Oh fuck, no, he ain't wrong." And I'm like, "I know he ain't wrong, Pat McAfee, and you know he ain't wrong. It's the Bengals that's fucking up right now," which is crazy to say because again, I don't really want to be lining up with Pat McAfee. But when a motherfucker got is right, I got to say you're right, and he is right here, and the Bengals is fucking up. And plus, haters gonna hate. Plus, I just drove through Cincinnati the other day, and fuck that city.
Damn.
The weird turn you got to make to get to Cincinnati from Kentucky. Why make all that? Why do all this curvy nature?
It's nerve-wracking going over those like little green bridges, and then like whenever you get over the green bridges into Cincinnati, the highway's always got like barrel construction that backs you up forever.
Actually, we got through Cincinnati pretty quick. I got to give it up to one that.
The last time I drove there, I was stuck in Cincinnati, like not moving for like an hour.
No, I cannot pin that on Cincinnati. We came up on a Sunday, so maybe nobody was working because it was Sunday, but it was actually relatively okay. But I don't understand who designed that structure like that where you just could make straight lines across from Kentucky into Ohio. It seems so unnecessary to be like, I'm going to curve you 6 different ways, plus put you through a short little tunnel. It's just blatantly unnecessary. What happened to civil engineering people? That's all, brother asking. Oh my gosh. There you go. That's all. I really want to wrap the box about it. And you heard me. I just wrapped the box about it to the point of that's what I want to talk about in the Bengals. And he's not really down with the Bengals. He knows about. He's aware of it. That's all you need. Hold on. Do we have an email?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the people who were involved in the story. I just I haven't cared enough to read exactly what Stewart's gripes are. I just know he has them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, buddy is not wrong. Oh, let me see. I think what this email is that I cannot see right now is just saying we're live. Let's refresh Gmail. And yes, it just says our channel is live right now. Well, thanks, Gmail. I know. Oh my gosh. Let me rap to you and then we'll get started to the show. Regular show, the standard fare, but you know what it is. I was going to rap this in front of my mama because it's mostly not no cuss words. So I figured I'd be good. So I had set these notes up last week. Penny Alavaca, Panama Fishing Village visited with Papa, with choppers. All of you imposter. Simply just Ferrari window shoppers. The one that I just ordered looked like it was built by NASA. Over $500,000 we call focaccia. Reaching for Akasha. Never leaving home without my peace like I'm Mahatma. From the tribe of Judah, I'm Mufasa. Never turn the other cheek. You'll die at the Oscars. Persona non grata. Mikasa Sukasa. Drugs killed my teen spirit. Welcome to Nirvana. You was Fuji Lala. I was Alibaba. Dressed in House of Gucci, made from selling Lady Gaga. Hakuna Matata. Island wearing tie-dye. Umbrella and my rose match the one that's in this Mata. Listen, you are not I. Cross T's, dot I's. I done disappeared and reappeared without a voila. Ballerinas. Doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe. Shopping sprees in Soho. You had to see it. Stripper shaking ass and watching the dough blow. Ace trumpets and Rosemo. Hey, welcome to it. It's episode 576, and our cube is 8.32. I'm your host, Inter's Table 713, joined by the other host, the eBay Emperor Lunchbox 2099. What's the good word, kind sir?
Cocaine.
That's exactly what everything in that verse was about cocaine. Dressed in House of Gucci, made by selling Lady Gaga, is insanely good lyricism because she was in that movie, House of Gucci, Lady Gaga. Selling Lady Gaga in this case means selling that white girl, which is, of course, cocaine. Like almost everything in that verse is about coke. It's insane how good. It's like that's what makes Clipse such an interesting real rap group because people be like, you think they'd be bored of hearing coke rap by now, but they're so good at making these strange metaphors, similes, entendres, and the like that is like, man, you really made me think about cocaine again. Good shit. I have never done coke in my life. I've seen crack once in my life. So I'm not a connoisseur of the product or know much of it, but I can appreciate some damn good bars about the subject. Again, as I was kind of saying before we kind of split off there, regular show. A couple of news stories. Box will tell you some stories about his life. I'm gonna tell you some stories about my life. We'll just remember the assholes. I don't think I put anything down for.
Well, once you start the news stories, I need to take a leave of absence for 30 seconds.
You're good. Although you will miss that I'm talking about the Brown Stadium, but it's all good. Actually, you know what? I'm talking about something else first. So go. By the time you get back, we'll talk Browns. Brooklyn City Council passes Pride Month resolution in close vote. Mayor declines to sign. The Northeast community has been plagued over the past few years of a string of incidents with pride flags have been vandalized or stolen. A friend of mine lives in this town, Brooklyn, Ohio, not Brooklyn, New York. And she had her pride flag stolen and or vandalized. I can't recall correctly. I believe it was just stolen. And so this is actually, I guess, a little closer to home than I actually thought. Ken Shank on the byline from the Buckeye Flame. Actually, I should click over there and give them the click. I got this story from Seeing Cleveland, but let me give the Buckeye Flame the actual click because we want to make sure they get the credit. There we go. Whoa. Following a contentious meeting, the Brooklyn, Ohio City Council narrowly voted to approve a resolution declaring this June to be Pride Month. The Cleveland suburb has been plagued over the last year by a string of incidents in which pride flags have been vandalized or stolen. At Council's May 27th meeting, these incidents were repeatedly raised to illustrate the importance of a statement of LGBTQ plus support. Tempers flared between council members as the resolution was discussed and the motion passed 4-3 to approve. I'm proud that a majority of council took this step, said out LGBTQ plus council member Stephen Coyle, who brought the language forward. It sends a clear message. I had to move it over because I wasn't looking down the camera. It sends a clear message to LGBTQ plus residents and visitors that they are seen, valued, and belong here in Brooklyn. The resolution is more than symbolic. It's a reflection of the inclusive community we're striving to be. Before council members voted, several residents spoke in favor of the resolution during the public participation part of the meeting. The Reverend Ginger Marshall said that she and her wife moved to Brooklyn over a decade ago after making sure the community was reasonably safe, or at least not openly hostile to LGBTQ plus residents. She said the wave of pride flag desecration challenged that feeling of safety, but the council could send a strong message to counter those incidents. This is a declaration that we as a community can take a stand, that all of our neighbors are welcome and that no one is mistreated, Marshall said. Resident Jeff Pierce said that bad actors who vandalize pride flags do not represent the city, and the resolutions would show that intolerance is not who Brooklyn is as a city. As you all vote on this resolution, please consider how this will set the tone for a more inclusive community and how we will move forward together, said Pierre, the vice president of local nonprofit Brooklyn Area Pride. Heated debate. During the meeting, Quayle highlighted the city council had previously approved several resolutions, including ones for Black History Month, Motorcycle Safety Month, and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Pride Month is a time to honor the courage, contribution, and experiences of the LGBTQ plus community and affirm that our city council stands with those who have too often been overlooked and marginalized, Quayle said. For his remarks, Councilman Aaron Borowski read a letter from a constituent who said that the city should not approve the resolution. Most folks are ordinary and working people, Borowski read. They aren't flying flags for the LGBTQ plus community. The resolution creates an unnecessary division in our city. LGBTQ plus individuals have decided to live a particular lifestyle. Borowski said that the letter was their words, not mine. But you read the shit out loud, my guy. Councilman Kevin Tansky said he would not support the resolution as it did not benefit all Brooklyn residents. Yeah, that's what you care about. Councilman Sue Grodek countered that the first line of the resolution was the city of Brooklyn supports the rights of every resident to experience equality and freedom from discrimination, meaning it does talk to every resident. So Tansky is a liar. The resolution simply meant to state that we recognize Pride Month, which is happening whether we pass a resolution or not, Grodek said. I want to recognize pride in our city as well as our country. Ultimately, the council narrowly approved the resolution with Quayle, Grodek, Matt Mosley, and Council President Kathleen Pucci voting to recognize Pride Month. Council members Borowski, Tansky, and Andy Shellkurtz, I don't know, voted against. It's disheartening that our entire council could not come to a unanimous agreement to recognize June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, Quayle told the Buckeye Flame after the meeting. As a country, we've made meaningful strides toward inclusion and equality, but moments like this remind us how fragile the progress can be. When a basic gesture of visibility and support becomes controversial, it sends a message that some people in our community are still being left behind. Mayoral in action. After the resolution passed, Mayor Ron Van Kert had 5 days to sign it. He declined to do so. The Buckeye Flame reached out to Van Kert for comment. He did not respond. In his remarks during the meeting, Van Kert did not mention the resolution, but later told Cleveland.com that he was not in support. I'm not really in favor of these type of resolutions because they tend to be political, often divisive in nature, Van Kert said. By his not signing the legislation, the resolution recognizing Pride Month will not go into effect for 30 days until after Pride Month has ended. Get the fuck out of here, bro. What is happening in this country where we just are? It's not that we have just decided, but it seems like we are going just backwards at a clip that is just insane to me. We had seemingly gotten kind of cool with everybody, and now it's just like, nah, I can't even say that June is Pride Month, even though June is Pride Month. I don't get it. It is just a bit bonkers to me, man. But word to those city council members who did vote in support, and fuck that mayor and his 3 little cronies who wouldn't vote in support of it. You're bitches, and you're worse people, and your town suffers for it. So fuck you. This one's from the Ohio Capital Journal. Can they do that? Ohio senators propose novel, if questionable, Brown Stadium funding plan. This is Nick Evans on the byline. Ohio Republicans largely agree that shelling out $600 million to fund a new Cleveland Browns stadium is a good idea. They just disagree on how to pay for it. Governor Mike DeWine proposed increasing taxes on gambling, and Ohio House lawmakers favored issuing state bonds. State senators thought way outside the box. Every state oversees unclaimed funds. Think old security deposits, uncashed checks, or even bank accounts. The state acts as a custodian for that money, holding it until the rightful owner comes forward to claim it. According to Ohio Department of Congress, state officials are sitting on $4.8 billion in unclaimed funds. State senators are now eyeing that money for stadium funding. The Ohio Senate
I checked the website for that the other day, and I don't have any unclaimed funds. So
I'll talk to you about that not on the show. The Ohio Senate's budget approved Wednesday would redefine all unclaimed funds that passed into state custody prior to 2016 as abandoned. This, just out loud, would affect me. I just want you to know that, okay? Well, it'll affect my children. The money would then escheats, a legal term for transferring ownership to the state. What this does is take idle money and puts it to work to create jobs, to create incremental taxes. And that's why we're so excited about this project. Senate Budget Chief Jerry Serino, Republican Kirtland. It's always that motherfucker from Kirtland doing bullshit like this. He's also trying to fuck up the weed. Said at a press conference introducing the idea earlier this month, Ohio officials would use newly created fund estimated at $1.7 billion to put up the $600 billion the Browns need while maintaining a nest egg for future sports and cultural facilities. The Browns would pay its share back through tax revenue generated by the project. The team would also put up $100 million in case the tax revenue falls short. Going forward, any unclaimed funds would move to the new stadium fund if no one claimed them within 10 years, Serino emphasized. Companies often spend several years attempting to return funds before money ever gets transferred to the state's custody. Guess what? They did not in my situation. Oh, good Lord. I'm so upset. Ohio President Rob McCauley added, if you took a look at the $600 million amount, I believe all of those are at least 18 years or older. I can tell you that anyway. So they've been sitting in that fund for some time. The alternatives, Serino argued, aren't particularly attractive. Raising taxes, even on gambling, is a non-starter in his caucus, and borrowing money, even if the team pays back every penny, would carry substantial costs. Over 25 years, those bonds would carry $400 million in debt servicing, Serino said, and the debt service would be paid out of the general fund. The plan's supporters are quick to emphasize the safeguards. Anyone whose property gets rolled over in that first sweep to the stadium fund will have a 10-year grace period extending to January 1st, 2036, in which they can still claim their money. The Senate budget also appropriates an additional $1 million annually to support more outreach to the owners of unclaimed funds. Any property that belongs to anybody rightfully and illegitimately, we want them to get what they have coming to them, Serino said in an interview. And we're not suggesting anything to the contrary. Excuse me. We're just simply setting a time period here that is, we think, reasonable. Can they do that? In Ohio, the State Department of Commerce oversees unclaimed funds, but in many other states, it's the state's treasurer's job. And the National Association of State Treasurers is unequivocal about how unclaimed property programs should run. We actually have an official policy stating that we believe that state unclaimed property programs should make these funds available to their property owners in perpetuity, NAST Executive Director Sean Snyder explained. The group's policy statement raises concerns about potential legal challenges and emphasizes the state's taking custody of unclaimed property isn't the same as taking ownership of it. At the heart, Snyder argued, unclaimed funds programs are built on trust. You get that trust by telling people, look, if you lose your property, you will be able to claim it. We will keep it for you and protect it for you, he explained. When states decide to essentially add in a cutoff of some kind that they can undermine the process, then that can undermine that process. Snyder noted there are just 4 states with policies that escheat unclaimed funds to state after a specific period of time. 2 of them, Arizona and Indiana, these are states you don't want to be like. Just want to point that out to listeners. Wait much longer than Ohio proposes, only transferring funds to the state after 25 years. Hawaii and Rhode Island set the cutoff at 10 years, but only for small amounts less than $100. In Hawaii, less than 50 in Rhode Island. So, super tiny amounts. Like Snyder, the Urban Institute's Lucy Dadayan argued that redirecting those funds for public projects, even after a long dormancy period, risks undermining public trust and confidence in government. She also raises doubts about the sustainability of the idea. If the stadium funding plan raises awareness, more people can come forward with claims and reduce the amount of money flowing into the stadium fund. What's definitely outside the box, University of Chicago professor Justin Marlowe said to the proposal. Marlowe heads up the school's Center for Municipal Finance and explained that he hasn't heard of any other state using unclaimed quite like Ohio is considering. There's some more to that article, but it's long as shit, and I'm kind of tired of reading about it already. It's just upsetting to me that this, again, all this bullshit to fund a team that loses more than it wins in the past, its 25 years of existence. 25? Are we at 30 at this point? Do the math, Reeboks.
They came back in 99, so it'd be 26 years.
All right. So, a very long while, okay? So, chill that shit the fuck out. And, like I said, I got the feeling that this unclaimed situation. But what happened is I wouldn't check that unclaimed funds for some people I know, and as it turns out, there's somebody on that list, and so there'll be some work having to be put in to get those claimed and to my folks. So it's wild out here, buddy. It's wild out here. Those are your news stories for the week. Ohio being on one as always, because why not? I guess that's just what it comes down to. Box, do you have something that you want to share with the listeners this week?
Sure.
Then let me push this button. Let's celebrate Box.
I hope it's like the Wonder Years where like you got me like playing in the front yard by a white picket fence, and then like me looking lovingly into like my crush's eyes as I kiss for the first time, and then all of a sudden I'm getting on a boat to war.
I thought it would involve books in some way, story time, but damn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess reading Rainbow works too.
It's story time at Lunchbox. Box, what's the good word, bruv?
So, I've talked about my sister's wedding coming up on the show before, and they had scheduled an appointment to get fitted for tuxes for the groomsmen and stuff, and then they included me, my brother, and my dad so we can get fitted for suits.
Okay.
And I've never been fitted for a suit before in my entire life because I've always been, fat. Not to say that I'm not fat right now, because I'm still fat right now, which is part of why this was kind of bittersweet, because one of my goals has always been that when I get down around my goal weight was I wanted to get fitted for a suit and buy a nice suit. So I feel kind of like I cheated a little bit, and I'm not keeping the suit or anything, and I just feel like I did something that I wanted to do as a reward later down the line kind of early, and I don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
And it was also kind of awkward because it's not like they have a lot of shit sitting around in there that fits me necessarily. So also getting fitted in front of an entire room of people when you're a big guy kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So it felt like a really awkward doctor's appointment in a way where it didn't feel like a special occasion like I wanted it to. It felt like anxiety inducing. Yeah. I did my best to kind of push all that shit down and just get through it. I got through it without making a scene or complaining or anything, because it's not my day. It's this is for my sister. But I didn't really enjoy the experience, and I'm hoping that when I get down to where I'm more excited to do it, then I'll feel differently the next time I do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and get my suit and get measured and all that shit in a couple months. But when the day comes where I'm doing it for what I wanted it to, I hope it feels better than it did this time.
I can hear that. I hear you, and that does stink. But does it give you like a renewed sense of like, let me get this shit taken care of? You know what I'm saying? Let me get on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever parts of this that you
didn't do anything for me in that way because I've already been working at it. Like, I've been tracking my weight for the last 2 months, and I'm steadily losing like a pound to a pound and a half like every 7 to 10 days. So I'm going at a pace that is sustainable.
Yeah,
and as the weight drops, like I'm gonna have to do more things, like be more active and stuff. But that's fine. Like, I can tell you that like the weight that I've already lost from doing this, I feel so much better, even if it is just 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Like that shit, like you feel a lot better, like a lot quicker. So it's like, I can't imagine what it would be like the further I get down the line. Like in my mind, I know what it's like to be at a certain point, because that's where I was at a couple of years ago before COVID.
Yeah.
And that's like what I weighed in high school. And even then, that was still in the 330s. So it's like, I know what it's like to be that. I don't know what it's like to be less than that anymore, because like I've been over 300 pounds since I was 11.
Yeah.
So it's like I have no concept of what it's like to be less than that, and so it's like I can't imagine what it'd be like to kind of like be able to move around without feeling like you're being crushed under your own body. Like it'll be a fascinating experience. It's a long ways away, but like that's the kind of shit that motivates me. Like being kind of feeling embarrassed in a room full of people all getting fitted for clothes, that doesn't motivate me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still a real point being made there. You know what I'm saying? You know what you need. Of course you know what you need to do, but you know what is going to keep you on the straight and narrow, as it were.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to be proud of you for that, man, because like I said, again, like you said, sustainable. Not just I lost a few pounds and I got skinny for this wedding and then I put it back on after the fact. No.
Yeah, the losing the weight has nothing to do with the wedding. Like, it'd be nice to be better, especially because I'm gonna be the officiant. So it's like I'm gonna be on camera and in pictures and shit. So like it'd be nice to not be horribly, horribly bad off. But I mean that's just like 3 months away. It's like you can only do so much in 3 months. Like 3 months in the grand scheme of things isn't that long of a time. So it's like,
no, not at all.
Like people thinking like, oh, like it's like when people are like, oh, summer's coming, I got to lose this weight. Like you should have been doing that shit a while ago. Summer's right around summer's about to be here. Like you ain't about to drop 40 pounds in 6 weeks. Like that shit ain't happening. And if it is happening, either you got a bad health condition or you're doing some shit that like's gonna fuck you up.
Or a tapeworm. And nobody wants that.
I don't know. Sometimes I think that may sound a little appealing.
It's the idea of a worm existing within me, a parasite of any sort. It's kind of like, no, thank you. What?
It makes me think of a System of a Down song.
Oh, it just makes you think of an episode of Futurama where these worms came over in the fried, made them smarter. It was a whole thing. It was a very wild episode. My ancestors came over on the sandwich. It's just I might try to find the little clip and edit that into the show, but who knows? But yeah, I don't want a worm, is all I'm saying. And I have no idea what other problems or what tapeworm could bring forth besides, you not.
So you wouldn't want to be leached either?
No. Oh my God. The very notion of what's that? Stand By Me. When that kid is in the water, he reaches down his pants and pulls a leech from his nethers. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. No.
That leech is just trying to do a little sucky.
No, thank you, sir. No ticks, no leeches, none of that shit. Yeah, the fact that they was leeching motherfuckers back in the day for health reasons.
You gotta purify the blood, brother.
Purify the blood. No, sir. No, I refuse to listen. Fuck that. Oh my gosh. I am sad. Not sad. I'm sorry that you had to feel any kind of shame or sadness or feel pushed ahead of your time schedule. You know what I'm saying? For what you want to do and get a fly suit for yourself that fit nice and so forth and so on. I hope that you have worked with a tailor that will make you look the best, regardless of your size. When this wedding comes up,
I can tell you that this company that we went to is inside of a mall. So,
hey, I'm gonna be real with you. Like I said, my kid looked amazing in his tux, and he's a big man at this point. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's possible. I think a well tailored situation could work work wonders.
There were two women working when we were in there, and I feel like I got the experienced person.
Good.
Whereas like the young one who couldn't really run the register kept having to ask for help. I feel like I'm glad that I got help by the older lady.
Yeah. Nothing like having an OG come through and provide some guidance. So I respect the shit out of it, man. So.
It was funny though too, because like I'm bigger than my dad, like weight wise. But like we both tried on the same pair of pants. that's the thing. I've always carried like a good portion of my weight in my like belly, upper body area.
Yeah.
So it's like my legs get big, but like they're usually like not as big as like my belly and shit. So I'm fat, like we know here. So it's like I'm not ashamed to say, like right now, like I wear size 46 jeans.
Yeah.
Normally. So it's like my dad said he wears like 44 or something like that, and they had him try like a size up. So like I tried on the same pants, and it was like I could get them on, I could zip them, I could do the little clasp thing, but like buttoning them with the little button and then like the mobility in them was a little off. But so we decided to like put me down for like the next size up. But also, like I said, it's like this is 3 months away, roughly, a little less than 3 months. So it's like we don't know exactly where I'll be come then. So there's a possibility that like those pants might even just end up being fine at like that, no, like one less size. And man, I have to wear a size 14 shoe because their size 13 shoes are fucking tiny.
So you know I don't buy shoes very often. I work from home. I'm not out in these streets too much. I don't buy shoes very regularly. So last time I got a pair of shoes was actually in New York City at my kid's birthday almost 2 years ago. But I recently saw there was a sale of shoes on Instagram of all places. And so I got a pair of shoes for a pair of Pumas for I think $25 plus shipping.
I need new shoes bad.
Yeah. As it turns out, so did I. Here's how I know. Because putting on shoes that properly give you back your arch that you need and keep your ankle in check, it's as I was explaining to Vanessa, it's like having a car that had a problem this whole time. When you finally get it fixed, all kinds of other shit go wrong. Mm-hmm. So guess what? Putting on proper shoes, getting your arch back to where it's supposed to be, having your ankles sit where there should be, and so forth and so on, means all of a sudden your sciatica be like, whoa, man, I ain't did this in a while. So it has been a bit much to rock these new shoes, and I got a size 13 in Pumas, and I bet you a size 14 probably would have done better for me. It's just enough. I got hardly enough. If you measure my feet, I'm sure a 13 is what you get going, lengthwise. But I got what I'm going to describe as tall feet. You know what I'm saying? And shoes aren't built for that kind of operation. They're meant to be, I don't know whose size of feet they think they're supposed to be measured for, but it's not for me. It's not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I got chunky feet. I'm not about to put my feet on the camera because it's way up here. But, that's just gristle and bone. So it ain't like I can be like, these are super fat feet or anything like that there. No, I just got thick feet. And so, of course, I have not worn these shoes in as well as they could be. I have been wearing them, but still, just random. And in fact, I was looking at, I got those Optimus Primes that I wore at the shoe convention we went to. Those are 12s. I got them on. I walked around in them shits. So it's just weird how feet are. So,
well, that and like, it's like sometimes I'll buy a shirt from one company and it'll fit fine, and then I'll buy the same size from another company, and it's the snuggest shit known to man. Yeah. Shoes act the same way. It's like some companies 13 too big. Sometimes like a 13 perfect. Sometimes a 13 I feel like my foot can barely get in there.
Yeah. So all these companies, I mean, I would like a bit of universal measurement, but still, Judge blocks Trump from deploying National Guard to L.A. However, the National Guard is already in L.A., so what did you stop? It's driving me insane. All this shit has been driving me a little bit in bonkers lately. All these judges have been saying, you can't do that, and he does it anyway, and there's no repercussions for him doing it. So it's like, then he could do it. Nothing happened. You didn't stop him. I guess down the line, you could probably try to charge him with some kind of crimes, but that's only if you could charge them with crime. It's chaos. This country right now is chaos. Oof, good Lord. Anyway. I'm hopeful that come 2.5 months, you'll be a little bit slimmer. Just to your liking. And everything fits nicely and you look great. I know you're going to look great. You're a handsome man. Let no one take you to the contrary. Box, I mean, I'm saying, if you ever listen to this show auditorily, you know what I'm saying, you don't know that Box is a handsome bloke. But he just is. One of our listeners loves her some Box. My partner loved her some Box and was like, if Box would have talked to me first, I might have been talking to Box instead of you. And I'm like, don't do that to me. That makes me feel bad.
It makes me feel bad hearing that.
Hey man, you had the Mac hand that you want to put it down, I guess. So it's all to the good.
Yeah, but I shouldn't be knowing that. I shouldn't be knowing that shit. Like, I mean, I know that already because you've told me that before. But like, I feel bad knowing that.
Nah, she was a smoker. You wouldn't have loved her. I did.
It's true.
I know. Like, the universe took care of us in that regard. Worry not. I think it's cute. I never take offense to it because I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I can see that. I could see it. That's the worst part of it. Like, yeah, y'all two would be great together. It's like we might be great together one way, but y'all can be great together another way. That's all that I'm saying. And it's okay to be respectful of and support oneself for those matters. Okay, know that. But okay, yeah, there you go. That's Box's story for the week. I'm gonna tell you a lot of stories, so let's tuck it in. It's time for some tea time. I don't have a song for it yet. I guess at some point I should make one.
Tuck it in. Come on now.
Pinky out because it's classy. Last week was a hell of a week. We'll start at the 1st of June. 1st of June, my youngest son graduates from high school. Amazing. Fantastic. They didn't give me extra tickets, but we still got my sister in that bad boy. Don't ask me how. It just worked out that way. I only had one hard cry, and it was before the ceremony. I had some general gentle tears later in the operation, but only one like, wow, I am really out here right now situation. And so that all worked out. 3 nights later. Oh no, 2 days later. I wake up Tuesday morning. No, I wake up on the couch. So Tuesday in the night, basically, morning, to a message saying my payment for my Switch 2 had been declined. And I'm like, that's weird. Because I know what the deal is with that. And I'm like, I go and I look and I see, and I'm like, what is happening? There's money missing. The math ain't math in here. I'm tired, but at the same time, now I'm running on adrenaline because now I'm upset and I'm angry. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, go to bed. Lay down. I guess you ain't getting the Switch. Just be cool. But of course, I wake up the next morning super tired and angry. And I'm like, it says I can call them. How about we call them? So let's walk through it. I call first my credit card company. I believe that's who I called first. Who explained to me that that can't be right. Because first person I talked to definitely had an accent. I think I talked about credit card company first, but you know what? Because I write down the conversations, I write who I talk to, because that way I have. Okay, yeah. So whoever I called first definitely had a foreign accent. Their name was either Mickey or Nikki. I believe they were at my credit card company. They then said, "You got to call Best Buy." So I called Best Buy. I talked to Jane, who also has a foreign accent. I'm not knocking foreign accents. What I'm saying about accents is, and I think everybody will understand this because later I'll get to another accent that whatever. It makes what is already a challenging situation all the more challenging because then it adds in a communication issue. You know what I'm saying? Where it feels like we're not hearing one another. So credit card company first, then Best Buy. back to a credit card company. Credit card company this time, I'm speaking to Colleen. Colleen has a thick Southern accent, so thick and Southern that I'm like, is this a foreign person pretending to have a fake-ass American country accent? Oh, that kitty's right there. Oh, which one is that one?
That is Shuri.
All right, Shuri is about to, Shuri's like, I'm about to get some daddy lap time. But Colleen is super, super, super helpful. And she's jumping through hoops and she's talking to everybody in the company and she's trying her best to figure it out. She comes back to me and she says, look, I'm not trying to give you the runaround, but you got to call Best Buy back. But here's what I need you to tell them exactly. Look at Box's cat taking over. And so she provides for me the exact wording she wants me to give to Best Buy when I get on the horn with them. Basically, Best Buy needs to talk to my credit card company to clear a hold that Best Buy accidentally put on the credit card on the 30th for this switch. But it wasn't a hold. Best Buy basically charged me in full for a pre-order, but they charged me, X amount of days early. Okay. And because of that, and them trying to constantly recharge me for it, in fact, they attempted 9 times. My credit card company basically was like, nah, dog, we can't do that.
9 times?
Yes. So I call Best Buy back. I'm talking to another lady with an accent. But her accent is obvious to me, and it's one I have a better ear for, and that is she has what to me is clearly a Nigerian accent. When I say she is in Nigeria, I'm saying her accent is Nigerian. She says, we can't do that. But you know what we can do? Let's call your credit card company and we'll just stay on the phone together. And I'm like, run it. So we call the credit card company back. I get back on the phone with somebody at the credit card company that is not Colleen. Her name is Samantha. I explained to Samantha what Colleen has said to me. I explained to her that I have Best Buy on the phone with us. Can we get this done? She says, I can't do that. I go, there should be notes in your system saying that. She goes, no, what we have in the system says that this payment went through, and if you want more money, you can ask us for more credit. And I'm angry at this point, but but trust me, because I know what it is to have people on the phone. I'm never going to act a fool. And so I say to her, and I say these words exactly, Box. I say, I am so sorry. I do not want to be a Karen. But I guess today it's going to have to be that way. Can I please speak with your supervisor? And she gets so pissy and it's like, oh, fine, I'll let you do that. And puts me on hold for a few minutes. Her supervisor, Mandy, gets on the phone. Mandy fixes the problem within a minute. Does exactly what Colleen said needed to be done, and that is clear the hold. Hold is cleared. Hold is cleared. Money's back on the credit card. Boom. Go ahead and run that charge. I attempt to go say, okay, run the charge. It won't let me. It declines it. Best Buy, who is still on the phone with me this whole time, tries to run the charge. Declines it for them too. And you think I'll be getting worked up, but I'm like, wait a minute. You just told me they tried to run this bitch like 9 times. Hey, Mandy, you think fraud might have put a hold on my credit card? She goes, oh my God, you're probably right. Let me transfer you over to fraud. They transfer you to fraud. Talk to the fraud lady. Just as I'm talking to the fraud lady, I pick my phone up and I see a text that said, hey, did you make this purchase? I didn't even have to talk to fraud. I could have just said yes to that text message. Too late. I'm on the phone with fraud. Fraud's like, you are correct. We did lock that card. Here, you're unlocked now. Run the charge right quick. I do. It goes through. Boom. I am happy. Box, I promise you I was on the phone for about 90 minutes. I was in a meeting at work and told them, I'm on the phone with my credit card company, y'all. I'm at the mute, y'all. Worry not. It was that deep. I was on the phone for a good hour and a half talking to people back and forth. But it got done. And the next day, that evening, was the 4th, but on the night of the 4th, and then going into the 5th, because it's a midnight release, I got to go to Best Buy, line up for a midnight release of my system. And I have a Switch 2. If you recall, some weeks back, I had gotten a Switch 2, the opportunity to buy one from Nintendo directly that Box had somebody want to take advantage of it, and they took care of it, and I took advantage of the opportunity. And I believe they got their Switch that next day as well. It came in the it had shipped and came in the mail and so forth and so on. So they should have had theirs. That's pretty much that same day. So that's dope that they got it too. Gravy, except Thursday the 5th, I was about to leave town. That was my intention. I was going to leave right after Vanessa got out of work, but I was dead because I'd had a night of poor sleep after they told me they couldn't take my card. Then I had a night of late sleep because I had to go stay in line to get the damn thing. And I finally, I talked to Xander about when was he leaving because Xander was going to come down to Tennessee as well. And he said, I'm leaving in the morning, probably around 6 o'clock. And I was like, you know what? That is actually smart. I'm going to go my ass to sleep. We'll just leave in the morning. And I did. I did just that. But even with that, we hit the road at 5:45 Friday morning. Me, Ness, and the kid, and my youngest. Box. I'm just so tired, and I feel like one time I definitely leaned toward the rumble strip. And Vanessa's like, "Are you okay?" I go, "No, I am so tired." But you're almost to Cincinnati. We'll swap out in Cincinnati, and you can take over for a little bit. But my bell rings. I'm like, "Wait a minute, we're gonna be in Cincinnati. I can go to Jungle Gyms," a goal that we've had for some time. And I happened to be in the area, so we added a stop to the maps, and I finally got to go to Jungle Gyms in the Cincinnati area. Turns out there's 2 of them motherfuckers. That's how big Jungle Gyms is. I don't know which one I went to, but I got to go hang out inside of a Jungle Gyms.
Does the one you went to have like the train outside and stuff?
It does. It does. So that is the one I went to. Is that the one?
I don't know if they both have them. I know one of them has them.
Okay. But it also had a fire truck inside of it, an airplane inside of it. It's a lot of stuff going on inside. Jungle Gyms is a grocer. And a good half the store is just foreign grocery products. Turkish, Asian of other ilk, English, European of all sorts, all throughout that store. South American, Central American, so much stuff in that store. And here's where it was hilarious to me, Box. I had to go to the bathroom bad as shit. I walk in there, and you see 2 porta potties right here. And I'm like, oh, man, they sell porta potties in this bitch? This store is wild. And I'm walking, I see an employee. I'm like, hey, man, where's the restroom? He goes, right there. And he points back to the porta potties. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not really about to use a porta potty inside? God. No, the porta potties are just a facade. You open them up, and they go to open up into a large bathroom. It's nice. It's lovely.
Like the places that do the speakeasies.
Exactly. In the Jungle Gyms was also a full theater that you could go watch a movie about the Jungle Gym's life, which is crazy to me. So that was a wild experience. Just crazy. I'm saying, but Jungle Gyms is fun. It's a good time. Ness takes over the wheel and gets us through most of Kentucky. If not all of Kentucky. As a matter of fact, all of Kentucky, because she got us into Tennessee. And I kind of try to nap, keep my eyes closed, but it's also like I am so used to driving at this point that I'm unused to being a passenger. And so it felt off being a passenger. And so I'm like half asleep, half awake, but still trying to get my eyes, get some rest in my body so I can be together to make the rest of this journey. So Ness gets us through Kentucky safe and sound. As we are, well, no, because I definitely took us to Buc-ee's. So she got us through a good chunk of Kentucky safe and sound. We'll say that before I got back into the driver's seat. And along the way there, we saw a sign that was basically like Buc-ee's 70 miles. I'm like, is it 70? Really? Because I knew there's one in Kentucky, but I thought it was, further out. And it turns out there are 2 in Kentucky, and one is further out. But on the route to Tennessee from Ohio is a Buc-ee's, sure as shit. And so I got to go to a Buc-ee's. What it is that Buc-ee's must be newish, because it was rocking in that motherfucker. It was far too many human beings. They have what seems like hundreds of fuel pumps and no trucks. So it's all just, you know what I'm saying, just cars coming up on the scene. And they yelling about their damn brisket as you walk in. I'm like, I don't care about your brisket, but they every time brisket up, yeah, they all scream like a team because the brisket's up. Like, this is chaos. However, and Gabriel said this is what they're famous for. I was talking about the other day. Their bathroom is everything I want in a rest stop bathroom. Almost full door, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of a gap at the bottom, but motherfuckers would have to get down there and crawl underneath that motherfucker to see anything. But the door is fully closed and it goes up, you know, pretty tall. The space that the stall you're in is very tall itself. Good soap, good paper towels, so forth and so on. No blowers. I don't like blowers. Blowers blow germs and shit particles around. If you didn't know that, go look at the Mythbusters episode about it. It's a real thing. And so a great rest stop experience. We bought a few things from there, and of course some of those things are in the We Tried that patrons have right now. We Tried June 2025, and like I said, so I got the knockout too on the list right there and there. I got to go to Buc-ee's and I got to go to Jungle Gyms. We ease on down the road to Tennessee, and by the time we are getting near Tennessee, my mother's like, "Hey, the meet and greet is about to start because we're doing a family reunion, but a lot of us ain't been together in the same room in forever." So they're like, let's do a meet and greet the day before. That way, we can kind of, you know, get meet and greet people. Now on the way down from Kentucky, we hit a huge storm. It was crazy, bro, and like you could barely drive it. It was super like stormy. But that'll come into play, you know, the next day. But I get down south, and I literally walk in the room to applause. All the aunties and uncle is at a table in the front row, and they literally are applauding you walking through the door because they ain't seen TD in a long time. That's my family calls me, y'all. And so I do a little dance to my applause because I'm happy to be applauded. And somebody who I think my sister was like, they didn't do that when I walked in. I'm like, special that way.
Like a Jennifer Hudson guest.
Yes, they really did. But I get to see all my cousins and so forth and so on. And I had been practicing my cousins' names. I'd been running through them in my head. So I think I had locked down everything but my one cousin. I was like, and I thought I knew her name. So I double checked my sister. She goes, yeah, that's her name. I go, fuck yeah. I knew all my cousins' names, which was pretty dope. But I got to hug all my aunts and my uncle, and that was dope. And I had to hug my mama, of course, who I had just seen earlier in the week because, you know what I'm saying, she was literally here for my kid's graduation. But it's nice to see my mama more than once in 1 week for the first time in years. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty great to be able to say, hey, it's my mama again. And see my big sister and so forth. And it was great. It was really, really super nice. And that was just, like I said, that was just a little meet and greet. We make our way back to the Airbnb. My brother, who should have left considerably earlier than he did, his kid, they've got to the Airbnb ahead of us and unlocked it. But then they didn't leave the key anywhere. So I get to the Airbnb. My mom and then my sister was just like going to wait back at the community center. Where the fuck we were at? We were at a hotel like party room is where we were, and wait for my brother and his kids to arrive there. So I get to the Airbnb and I'm like, oh, this nigga didn't even lock the door. So I just walk in the Airbnb and go set up shop, and it's lovely. And my mom got this gorgeous house box. It was so massive. 3.5 baths, like 5 bedrooms, something like that. It was stupid. And then not just the 5 bath, because sure it's 5 bedrooms, but it's also like extra beds in there. Like the room Vanessa and I were in was 2 queen beds. So me and Vanessa and Lee had that and a bathroom, because that definitely probably would have been a primary suite if you were selling the house, because it had a bathroom, an ensuite bathroom. Mm-hmm. And then like there's basically an upstairs, I'm gonna call it a dining room. There's a whole space upstairs that I don't know, maybe it's just a sitting room, a den. I don't know, bro. A whole like literally separate from the bedrooms, just a space. And they put 2 beds in that motherfucking too. So like it could house a lot of people. You ever go to Tennessee, you need a big space, I got one for you. We get comfortable, and then my mom and my brother comes through, and I ain't seen my bro in a little bit, so I got to hug him and then see him. I ain't seen my nephew in a little bit either, I ain't seen my brother's family in forever. So I got to hug my niece and nephew and my brother, and that was dope. And we just kicking and bullshitting, and then we call it a night. And because the next morning is the actual family reunion. I wake up early, but not early. I wake up on time. It's just we happen to, we're in Central Time. We're in that part of Tennessee, and so I hear my niece and nephew talking, and I'm thinking my mama in there, but I'm like, so I get up and I go and walk in there, and I'm rapping to my niece and nephew, telling them the whole story about the Best Buy credit card situation, and I turn my head, and it's a gun and a magazine just laying on a night table, and I turn to my nephew. And he go, yeah, it's crazy in Tennessee. I just had to be ready. I'm like, get the fuck out of here! What? You packed the gun and brought it with you? I'm just like, that's crazy. It was crazy to me, and I was just like, yo, that's bonkers, bro. But whatever. Let's say an hour passes. I get a text from my sister to the family group chat, and she's like, the place where we're going for the family reunion has called to cancel because they are being ravaged by these storms right now. And it was thunder and lightning right then and there around us. But I know what I drove through in Kentucky, and it was bad. Tornado worrisome bad. I was like, are we about to drive into a fucking tornado? So I get why the place closed it down. So basically, they were like, we just going back to the same spot we was at last night for the meet and greet because they let the family rent it again. And in fact, basically, they carried it over and was like, yeah, you got it for a full 24 hours. So nothing to it. Keep it moving. Keep the party going. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And so they're like, are we going to do lunch? And then we're going to do dinner at this place and so forth and so on. So I'm just like, okay. So that's what it's going to be. And so we go, we have lunch. I get to see he's my second cousin. His mom is actually my cousin, but we are the same age. So we came up together. So he's basically my cousin. I got to drive them around. Basically what you and my nephew did when we saw them last. Drive all around, my old neighborhood and shit like that there, which has managed to get worse. You saw how bad it was when we went, right? It has gotten worse.
It's rough in some spots, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it has gotten worse in the 5 years since you and I were there, with the exception being the house that I came in looked great. Whoever's living there is taking good care of it. The yard is nice. The tree that's in the front yard is still there and so forth. And so I got to go drive through there and take Vanessa and Lee around that neck of the woods and just all over the place. And after lunch, had lunch with the family, did that, blah blah blah, and then it's like, okay, dinner's at this time. I'm like, all right. Vanessa at this point is aching. Lee is like tired and just probably bored because it just is what it is. Just because I'm excited about the show, don't mean my child will be. So they're like, can we go back to the Airbnb? I go, sure. Let me ask them where the key is. Oh, we put the key back in the lockbox. I'm like, okay, that should be easy. Nothing we could do would open that lockbox. Simple, push this button, put the code in, push this button. That's how this lockbox is supposed to work. It would not open. My child, being the genius that he is, figures out a way to open the garage, go in, not through the house, because the door to the house to the garage is locked, but the door to the backyard open. And of course, my brother didn't lock the door to the backyard to the back, the deck patio situation. So my kid got in the house and got us in the house safely, so we could be in the house. And I was like, dope. So back in the house, I explained to my mom, hey, yo, we got in here. Like, you didn't break nothing, did you? No, we didn't break nothing. We just got in the house. While I'm sitting there, I hear what sounds like a car hitting a car and a bit of a scream. I'm like, is that an accident? And I look and I'm looking and I don't see any accidents anywhere. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, I definitely know I heard a car wreck. And then I start hearing sirens and I'm like, come on. So then I take a step out the front door and I go down to the sidewalk and I just turn my head a little bit, and sure as shit, maybe half a block away, it's definitely an accident that just occurred right over there by the Airbnb. We were over by the University of Memphis, if you were wondering what location we were in. And basically what it is, I'm telling you right now, the fancy part of that area, it was really wild to be there. Eventually and at this point in time, Xander has showed up with his lady. So Xander's there for the afternoon part of this family reunion. And so we all get to take pictures and stuff like that as a family, as the entire family, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of dope. my family comes back, and Xander has gone off to go to the pyramid that is the Bass Pro Shop pyramid. And then, like, my brother also ended up going there separate with his family. And so my kid and bumped into his uncle while they were there, which is hilarious. And I'm sitting there with Vanessa, and I'm like, we should go to the pyramid. Because I'm like, come on, it's a pyramid. That's got to be kind of cool, right? And I go grab my sister, and she's like, nah, I think I'm not going to go. I go, come on, man. And my mom tells my sister, come on, it don't matter. It's okay. Just go. It ain't going to be that long, and dinner's not till this time. So we slide out, and we go to the pyramid, the Bass Pro Shop pyramid that used to be the Grizzlies Arena. It was very fun. Did you go? You went to the pyramid where you was in Memphis, right?
No.
Y'all didn't go? Okay. Well, it was very nice inside the pyramid. I highly recommend. They have an observation deck. If you wanted to, you can ride an elevator up to the top of the pyramid. We did not because there was a line, and it also was, I think it was $8 per person, so not too expensive, but it's just like the line was far too long. My mom starts calling my sister. Basically, my sister feels like my mom is kvetching at her about not being on time for the dinner, and I was just like, I mean, come on. But I go and I go back to the house because my sister's like, I might change clothes for this evening situation. Then she decides she's not. Well, my nephew's there still. My nephew has gotten back there, but my brother and my mother have left. But Lee and Vanessa are not coming with me to the evening portion of the program. Vanessa's like, bones is aching, and Lee is just tired. And so my sister is going to ride with me. And then my niece and nephew are like, oh, we'll come with you. I'm like, cool. So we all go ride back to the family reunion. We have the evening family reunion where all the aunts and the uncle each get a birthday cake. And we all sing happy birthday to them to celebrate all their birthdays at once and with them. And they tell us, and my cousin gets up there and says, okay, each one of y'all send up one representative of the family to say some kind words about your parent. Those are the instructions we are given. So we are first. We end up being first. So we go up there. My sister says some kind words about my mom. It's dope. I hug my mom. We go sit down. Everybody else goes up there, every child talks about their parent, as opposed to one representative of their family, with the exception being my cousin who said one representative of the family. Her and her sisters only did one person in the family spoke kind words about their mom. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers can't just obey. I laugh, and I talk to my mom about it later. I go, we're just rule followers. We don't want to break the rules. We don't want to be kind of coming off and they told us one person speaks. And so we want to abide by that. And all these other motherfuckers just up there talking. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It drove me mad. And then I felt like slightly embarrassed. I felt like I was doing my mother a disservice, but she was actually okay with it and she understood. And I was like, all right, well, that's okay. I'm leaving. My brother and I leave, and so it's me and my sister and my niece. We all head out, but my nephew and my brother hang back and so forth. And so I'm like, all right, cool beans. No, we all cleaned up first because we had to clean up. They were like, let's clean up, you know what I'm saying, put things away. But still, I'll leave before my nephew and my brother. And my nephew mentions to me at home, when we're all back at Airbnb, oh, hey, Uncle, man, I left my piece in your car. And I'm thinking he's joking. And I think that I go, do you need it? He goes, no, I'm okay. And again, I'm thinking he's just cracking jokes. We're leaving that Sunday, which is the next day. We wake up and start packing it up and getting together and stuff like so on. And I go put stuff in the car, and Lee's getting stuff in the car. And I'm like, do me a favor. Look in that pocket behind on the passenger seat and see if your cousin's gun is in there. Because he said it, but I thought he was joking. And sure as shit, that gun was in my car. I'm driving around with a pistol in my car, Box. What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? That's not registered. That's not registered to me in a state that I don't know the rules for pistol holding. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like you have my dad in the car. Yeah, when we went to go to get the suits fitted, he had to put the piece in the glove box when we got to the mall.
Like, what do you think is happening between where your dad lives and the mall? And what do you think is happening between where we staying at the Airbnb and the damn hotel party center? There's
You never know, man.
You know what I know? I'm driving around with a goddamn gun in my car, didn't know about it. I know that was fucked up. So I gently pinched the gun up and out. And I don't know how to handle a gun because I never had a real gun ever. I just go and lay it on the dining room, or well, not in the dining room, in basically the foyer, whatever table. My brother's sitting there, and I go, "Your son left this in my car," and he's just like, "Oh my god!" And my brother picks it up like it ain't nothing but a toy. And I'm like, man, lay your finger off that trigger, because I've been taught this whole time, don't put your finger on the trigger unless you plan on pulling that bitch. And he just drops the magazine out of racks it to make sure ain't no bullet in the chamber, and lays it down on the table. And we have a nice little prayer, because my mama don't believe in letting people get off on the road without praying first. She makes my brother do a prayer. He does a really nice prayer when it's all said and done. And we get on the road and head back home. And we end up stopping at Buc-ee's on the way back up to get gas and go to the bathroom again, because again, Buc-ee's super nice bathrooms. And we make our way back home safely, and la-da-da-da-da, here we are. It was a hell of a weekend, y'all. It was really a fantastic trip. It was so nice to see my family, a lot of my family that I hadn't seen in years. It was so nice to see them under good circumstances, not a funeral, not something that felt rushed or whatever, but something I got to kick with people, show love, talk to them, and see how they're doing. Everybody called my kid by his preferred name, and nobody seemed to take a hitch about it, with two exceptions. My niece, so my brother's daughter, fully is like, wait a minute, don't you got you got a whole son? Where he come from? And my sister, trying to be supportive, is like, oh, Lee's always been there. Where? I'm like, not my nephew my niece is fully not understanding that my child has transitioned. Just thinks I had an extra kid. just like straight up. It's like, huh. And my Aunt Linda is also just confused by the situation, and so much so that she thought that Xander's girlfriend was my daughter. And it was like, I was just like, at first we let that walk, but then she repeated it. So Vanessa, I mean, not Vanessa, but Xander's girlfriend had been like, no, I'm his girlfriend. But my Aunt Linda gets a pass because she is a 3-time breast cancer survivor. Trust me, her life has been a lot. And so we give her all the grace, and we support her and everything. And it wasn't like she was rude about it, but it was super dope that everybody knew what to call my kid and respected it. Even though, like I said, I'm not lying to you, bro. I come from very, very, very churchy people. And so it was dope to be in that environment, but not feel like my kid was in a bad place or in a state that would have made them uncomfortable or anything like that there. It was wonderful. It's just wonderful to see my family and be with them. Like I said, it was dope to be able to get a picture of all of us. So all the children of my mother, all 3 of us, and then our children are there in one big photo, and are with our partners. So Vanessa and Xander's girlfriend were in the picture, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's super dope. And it was just super wonderful, y'all, to go out and do that and enjoy that time and so forth. And back at the action again at work, and nothing to it. But then next week is Juneteenth, and of course I took the day after Juneteenth off, so I got a nice little 4-day coming up next week too, because that's how it moves, people. Take advantage of your time off, people, around holidays. Oh, I guess it's Father's Day this weekend, and if you are so interested, I am on the most recent episode of the Delvin Cox Experience. It's a Father's Day episode. And it was a very interesting episode to be a part of, and I think it's a good listen. Well, at least because I was, I helped record it, so I was there when it was recorded because I'm the guest on that episode. So if you want to hear me more than once, you can go listen to the Delvin Cox Experience and listen to he and I discuss fatherhood, because it's a dope. Yeah, I think that is the full flair and compliment of my experience and my journey. So there you go. That was your tea time. Hope you enjoyed it. One time for the one time. Let's slide on over to Reddit and delve deep into the subreddit, Am I the Asshole, to decide who the assholes are this go around.
attention. I don't know. Did I leave something here?
What the fuck was that?
I was watching a clip from Righteous Gemstones. It's a little Baby Billy compilation.
So I've never watched that show, but I know Walt Goggins plays that preacher, and I had that one clip was like, who wants to suck an old man's dick? And it's just like that show must be wild. Okay. Either way, hilarious.
Well, I preview for entertainment, but I literally finished it today. Apparently they only went 4 seasons. I guess this was the last season. I didn't know that. And I finished season 4 like a couple hours ago, and then I went to Google and I was like, when's season 5 come out? And they're like, there is no season 5. That was the series finale. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I watched all of it in 4 days then.
Well done, sir. Well done. All right. Here is your selection of this is one of these I told you I would bring back from last week because we last time because I knew it was pretty funny. And that is, am I the asshole for making my friend buy me a whole new? Oh no, that's not even the one. Am I the asshole for confronting my mom for asking my best friend about hiring me a prostitute? There's also, am I the asshole for making my friend buy me a whole new bathing suit after it was returned with a shit stain?
Damn.
And
no.
am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't want him spending so much time with his friend anymore?
Yes. Maybe. Depends on the friend.
Which one do you want to start with?
Prostitute.
I hope that's the funniest shit. But then at the same time, I feel like it might not be funny. So let's find out. They slapped this bad boy with the not safe for work tag. So let's see what's happening in this post. Am I the asshole for confronting my mom for asking my best friend about hiring me a prostitute? I'm 32 male. I've been single for most of my life. It bothers me sometimes, but it never keeps me awake at night. I work all day, so I don't usually attend the visits at my house. One day, my childhood friend, 32 male, and other friends came to visit, and my mom attended them. Attended them?
Tended to them, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I heard some awkward laughing from my room. I work home office, but didn't pay much attention to it. When I finished my work and went downstairs to greet them, my best friend and another one asked me to come and talk to them privately. A little weird, but I go along with it. Turns out my mother asked them if they know of a prostitute they could hire so I get laid. She said she did this in front of all my friends and with me being absent. I felt massively embarrassed and angry, but I hanged with them until they left. Later that night, I confronted my mom about it, telling her why the fuck would she ever say such things in front of my friends. She replied with, oh, don't be dramatic. They're your friends. It's okay. I tell her no. Some things can't be said in public like that, especially about your son's sex life. It made me look desperate for it.
I'm already mad at this dude.
At this dude, really?
Hell yeah.
Let me wrap it up. It made me look desperate for it. Then she started babbling about how sex is good for me and that she's worried I'm lonely. I appreciate her concern, but that wasn't it. I told her to never do that again, and she got upset as if I was attacking her for doing a good deed. Am I the asshole, Reddit?
Yes. You got a caring mom who's progressive, believes that sex work is real work that should be respected, and is thoughtful enough about your life to try and help you out. And you're going to come over here and talk about, oh, we don't talk about these things. You fucking prude.
You know, Reddit says this person's not an asshole, but I'm signing with Box on this one. Fuck you, you weirdo.
Yeah, like if like my only bugaboo if I was in the shoes would be, would they know my tastes well enough to get me to set me up with a worker that would satisfy my desires? That would be my only thing. Would they give me like some like blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman that, you know, like, oh, he like no, but like if we were in the right ballpark and they were like, you know, oh, You know, we met this lady and she was, charging decent rates in these trying tariff times. And I had to be like, you know what? Good looking out.
It dawns on me that though not fully on my shoulders, it is me and a friend of ours set box up on a date with a blonde hair, blue-eyed woman. And I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. I wasn't really thinking. I was just trying to pass along what my man was trying to hook you up with. But God, that was so dumb. I'm so sorry. I know better.
We all make mistakes.
And I should have put the kibosh on that shit way early. But I didn't. And now as I consider,
I was always just confused of why he thought that I would be into that person.
I think he's into that person. It was like, yeah, if somebody can get some, my buddy can. It just felt
probably could have, but like I'm not that type of guy to pretend just for ass,
For sure. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the comments.
See, whilst I am potentially willing to entertain a woman of the night, I also have a heart.
You got standards. And nothing wrong with that.
Standards makes it seem like I think I'm better than somebody.
No.
What I mean is I'm not willing to cheat someone's emotionally for personal gain.
I fully disagree with saying standards it sounds like you think you're better than somebody. Standards is knowing what you like, and there's nothing wrong with knowing what you like. There's not that is not you thinking you're better than somebody.
No, I'm talking about like knowing that someone's into me and me not being into them, but me pretending to be into them just because I know they'll sleep with me.
No, you would never.
I don't think that's standards. I think that's just morality.
Yeah, that's just you stand on morals. I'm saying you have standards as in who you would want to date and or have service you. And so forth and so on. Let's see. This kind of
if it was a business transaction, that's one thing.
Yeah. What is wrong with these comments here? You're totally not the asshole. This is completely inappropriate behavior by your mom. Your sex life is private, a private thing. And while she could talk to you in private about it and voice her concerns, it's none of her business to embarrass you in front of other people and try to arrange prostitutes for you against your will. You should probably get your own place and leave your mother behind. The fuck out of here. I'm so on Box's side now that these motherfuckers saying not the asshole are pissing me off.
Right? Like at the beginning of the story, I'm just like, this sounds like a cool mom. Hanging out with your bros, trying to hook you up. Like, what the fuck is the problem here?
For sure. Let me keep scrolling. I'm trying to see.
I've joked with my mothers that I was going to use holiday/birthday money for prostitutes. That's what I tell my mom every year that I want for Christmas is a hooker. I've literally had this conversation. Now, whether or not I'm serious is a whole other thing, but I have told my mother this multiple times.
Vanessa always says hookers and cocaine. It's not just one. Lots of deleted comments, lots of comments that have been minused out. I'm trying to, man, it's like this post is wild. Move out of your mother's house and get a life if you feel so affronted. You're the asshole for being 30-year-old shut in and contributing to the male loneliness epidemic. What the fuck, bro? That was a minus comment. I have to click these to open them because they've got negative karma. So that dude was an asshole.
Did I misunderstand the story? I thought his mom came to visit with his friends. Does he live with his mom? I didn't pick up on that. Not that it changes my opinion of the story, but
most of my life, but it keeps me awake at night. I work all day, so I don't usually attend the visits at my house. I don't attend the visits at my house. One day, my childhood friend and other friends came to visit, and my mom attended them.
I know that's worded oddly, but I'm taking it that his mom and his friends came to visit him for his birthday at his house.
Yeah. So
like this dude doesn't live at home, so this person is a piece of shit for saying what they said.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say it.
That dude is an asshole. That commentary is an asshole.
Yeah.
So all these ones I click the plus sign on are basically they've been given negative karma, and you get so much that it'll actually collapse your comment on
deservedly so.
Yeah. Let's see. Man. And there are a lot of people saying not the asshole who also got negative commentary. So I mean negative karma. So it's funny how that shit works. This person who has deleted their account, but their comment still stands, says, "You are the asshole in this situation. Your mom was joking and your friends were in on it. You should have clued in on them laughing and your mom talking to you in private so quickly afterwards. If they're all joking like that, then that means you got to get out there and socialize with girls a little bit more. You should
That's a little
apologize.
preachy.
You should apologize to your mother for making her upset over a mere joke. If you're embarrassed, that means again, you got to get laid or make out at least something. Have fun, smiley face. I'm glad you erased your whatever. Um, Again, I don't agree with Reddit who says he's not the asshole, and fully agree with my man Box who says this person is the asshole. I also don't think these comments fucking with him about what he is or is not in life are cool. I'm thinking they are assholes, but they have been negative karma to their comments disappear. So I think everybody also thinks these people are on some bullshit. So we're not alone in thinking these people are on some bullshit. So Monster Champs fan, you got a cool ass mom. Maybe talk to your friends if you're interested about what you like in potential sex workers. Hook it up, cook it down, baby. Why not? All right. We'll do shit staying last because I'm hoping that's funny. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't want him spending so much time with his friend anymore? Just that, taking just that.
See, this is where like I feel like it could go either way because it would depend on who that friend is. Because I know like I have some friends where like a person probably wouldn't give a shit if I spent a lot of time with them, and then I have some friends who is just like, please stop seeing that person so much.
Fair. I, 40 female, have been married to my husband, 40 male, for 12 years. We have 2 kids, 8 and 12. And overall, our family life is pretty great. However, there is one issue that's been bothering me for a while now, and I only recently expressed it to my husband. Excuse me. My husband's friend, Mark, recently moved to our city and lives nearby. They probably haven't seen each other in almost a decade. They were close friends in college, but after graduating, they went their separate ways and didn't speak much. I've only recently gotten to know Mark, and I've only met him a few times with my husband. Here's the best way I can describe Mark. He's the same age as us, but acts as if he's still in college. He's loud, brash, and has this I'm living the dream attitude that's way too self-absorbed for my liking. He works in finance and is financially successful, which he loves to remind everyone about. He drives a flashy car, wears expensive clothes, and assumes he's what everyone dreams to be. Essentially, he's like a finance bro who has freshly graduated college, except 40 years old. Another thing is he's been divorced twice. Not that going through a divorce is an issue. According to Mark, both marriages ended because of irreconcilable differences. But honestly, it feels like Mark just doesn't take relationships seriously. Mark has kids as well, son and a daughter. He talks about his daughter a lot, but it's mostly complaints about how she's becoming more like her mom, his ex-wife. He says it in a way that makes it sound like a bad thing, as if the mom has somehow ruined her. Mark has never disrespected me directly. He barely spoke to me. But it's the overall vibe he gives off that bothers me. My husband's behavior hasn't changed since meeting him, but a lot of times when my husband comes home, he has this carefree attitude, as if Mark has brought the youth out of him. Sometimes I feel like it's a version of him that I've never met. There's no issue doing this once in a while, but my husband meets Mark easily 3 to 4 times a month. Eventually I expressed my concern to my husband. I told him I really don't like how often they go out drinking and that Mark seems very immature. I just don't want my husband picking up traits from him. My husband responded by saying how he also doesn't like my friend Claire, but doesn't complain about me hanging out with her. Apart from Claire being blunt and opinionated, she isn't a bad influence and is also married with 3 kids. I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to control my husband, who my husband hangs out with, but his friend Mark is not a good influence at all. And edit information, so she must have edited this and added more information to clarify anything. Taking just that box, is this woman an asshole?
Yes.
1,000% yes. Also, Reddit agrees. I know it seems like this probably is being stated a little too much, but there actually is a bit of a male loneliness epidemic in this country right now. Men don't seem to have friends. I have friends, and I do a podcast with them every week, and that's how I get to see them every week. We don't kick it like that. I'm grateful for this show because that means I get to kick it with them like this with a bit of regularity. And I don't take that for granted in any way, shape, or form. Your husband has an old friend who he gets to hang out with a few times a month. So 3 to 4 times a month. So this is not daily. This is not whatever. It's probably a Friday here, a Saturday there, a Sunday there. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. You've stated out loud, your husband hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form. He is not behaving in any weird way. He does come home kind of whatever, but he comes home having just hung out with his friends, so he comes home in a good mood. And it's like you mad at him for being in a good mood. That's weird. Why can't your husband come home in a good mood? Why don't you want him in a good mood?
That means he's cheating.
TikTok would have you believe that. Like, what you mean? How you come up? It'd be like, who you smiling? Who got you smiling? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, I just
he's cheating. He's not cheating physically. He's cheating emotionally.
I can't call it, man. I truly can't.
Well, I can't make him happy anymore.
Like, you make him happy 26 days out of a month. What the hell are we doing here? If 3 to 4 days out of the month he goes and kicks it with his homeboy, has a good time, comes home to you. It's weird. It's weird. You're the asshole. You literally said it bothers you that he comes home happy. I did not know this is what this comment was going to be. I just I should have wrote this comment. Word to you, Dry Topic 7333. Your husband is literally bothered by a friend of yours, and you completely dismissed it. This guy said his daughter is becoming more like her mom, which is not a complaint, by the way. It's just possibly something he notices. My son is more like my wife every day, and I love that about him. You seem like an unhappy person. By the way, your friend Claire is married with kids. Does not make her a good influence. It seems more like her blunt and opinionated attitude has rubbed off on you and made you a bad influence. Okay. I see you, Dry Topic 7333. We outside, baby. We scroll a little further down here. Let me see. Yeah, so blunt opinionated. You do seem to be trying to control your husband, who your husband hangs out with. I understand not liking Mark. From your description, I also don't like Mark. But right now, all your husband has done is hang out with his friend he hasn't seen much of recently. If he's neglecting you and the kids or his other responsibilities, that's one thing. But you didn't mention that. You're the asshole. Your husband is an adult. Trust him to be one and let him spend time with his friend. Fully agree. I'm trying to see one that says not the asshole, because I had read some that were like not the asshole, not the asshole. Yeah. Skip ahead a few here so I can find you that. Man, the not the assholes must have got buried in the comments because I cannot find them. Let me drop down here. Basically, people were like, "You're not the asshole because you have something. You notice something. You must have a feeling about something." And blah blah. Yeah, that's basically what they were saying. But of course, like I said, I cannot find those opinions right now. It's all you're the assholes that have surfaced to the top here, and it's because you're the asshole. And your husband has not done anything to deserve this kind of treatment, but you actually have. And your friend Claire seems to be a bad influence on you as a person. Do better, asshole. Last one. Am I the asshole for making my friends buy me a whole new bathing suit after it was returned with a shit stain? Box. You can't possibly be the asshole for expecting your clothes to be returned to you in the condition you handed them out, right?
I would certainly hope not.
All right. So this happened a couple of weeks ago, and there's still tension in the friend group over it. So I figured I'd ask Reddit. I, female 19, went on a girls' trip to Miami with some friends. One of my friends, female 21, let's call her Maya, asked to borrow one of my bathing suits since she forgot to pack one. I was fine with it, so I let her wear a matching two-piece set that I've only worn a few times. Before giving it to her, I was aware that she has IBS. She's been open about it before, and I didn't think it would be an issue. I figured she'd take care of it, and if something did happen, she'd be honest about it. Well, fast forward to the end of the trip. She gives me the bathing suit back. I didn't look closely at it right away. I just shoved it into my suitcase to wash later. When I finally get around to doing laundry, I saw the bottoms had a visible shit stain. I was mortified. It was clearly washed, but like not well enough. And though some of the girls disagree, it was definitely ruined in my opinion. Yes, because it's not your shit. That is ruined. Somebody else shit on your clothes, them is they clothes now. Ugh. I texted her about it. She apologized, saying she wasn't feeling great that day, and she did her best to clean it, but the fabric is light colored and very thin, so the stain is just there. I told her she needs to replace the bathing suit, and since the matching bottoms aren't sold anymore, that means a whole new one. She said she'd only pay for new bottoms because the top is fine. I told her that doesn't work for me. The bathing suit was a matching set, and now I can't wear it at all.
Just give her the fucking swimming suit for herself, and then she buys you a new one. Exactly. I don't understand why this is so difficult.
She called me inconsiderate and said I knew she struggled with IBS. A few girls are saying that I should have just said no if I didn't want to risk something happening. What? They also say I'm being too harsh since it's just a bathing suit, and she didn't do it on purpose. But I feel like if you ruin someone's clothes, you should replace them. Period. So am I the asshole? You are not. The only reason I'd call you an asshole is because you wrote this post knowing you wasn't an asshole. It's one of those situations. You are right. Your friend who pooped in your clothes and then tried to just be like, I'm only buying you new bottoms. Bitch, this is not a negotiation. You ruined this bathing suit. I don't. I gotta chill. I should not be getting this worked out for somebody else's clothes. But that's wild to me, man. Oh my gosh. No, not the asshole. She buys you a new set and keeps the old one for herself. Literally what Dan just said. If anything, we are basically just soothsayers of Am I the Assholes because I think we've been doing it for so long, we kind of know what the responses should be. Yes, she pays for it but gets to keep it. If she doesn't think they're ruined, then she can keep wearing it. But OP having to wear them, ew, no. That's a mental stain more than a physical, but also it's physically there. She'll always know. And yes, OP gets a new one that the friend pays for, but help her out by technically she's just buying one for, there you go. Help her out by telling her she's basically just buying herself a suit. Bonus points, the friends with shears will remember to pack at least one bathing suit on every future trip. Not the asshole. Man, let me scroll down a little bit. I always like to see if anybody else is commenting on the operation. Not the asshole. I have IBS. I have never, ever left a shit stain in someone else's pants. My pants, that's one thing, but to borrow and ruin what doesn't belong to me isn't okay. Either buy a bathing suit or don't bathe. I don't like borrowing/lending stuff, and the behavior of people in this post is the reason. If I made linguistic mistakes, please forgive me. English isn't my first language. Sir or madam, you spoke clear as a bell. You ain't falling for that bullshit. Not the asshole. Lifelong sufferer of IBS, and only in the most dire situations has anything ever eked out, but never anything that left stains. Oddly enough, for funny stories with friends, this sounds less like IBS and more like hygiene/not properly wiping thing. Facts. Same. Even if she has a bad day, that can happen. I don't know. I have meds for emergency situations, or at least have a way to handle the severe side of things. I feel like if a leak is possible, that's a situation where bad days you are extra vigilant, and especially if you are in a situation to wear a swimsuit. If a leak is an issue, I feel like you should know your body enough to know it could have happened and prepared for it. I also know pool time can make people more sensitive, which again makes me ask why she wasn't prepared, especially when she was borrowing clothes. Accidents do happen, but if you didn't prep or you didn't do, or you did and it still happened to you, you have to know you're responsible either way. Basically, people who also have IBS are saying, this bitch don't wipe her ass. which is the reality of the situation. It's not that she had an accident. She just don't wipe her ass enough, which is gross. Wipe your damn ass. The fuck out of here. Ugh. Whew. That was this week's Emma the Assholes. Good God, people. That was a wild adventure of Emma the Asshole, man. I was more upset than I should be through most of these. My man's like mad his mama trying to find him some pussy. My man's wife basically don't like him kicking with his people, and this bitch got the nerve to shit on somebody's clothes. Come on, man. This is just no, just extra, bro. Man, but bro, let's chat a little entertainment box. What have you been playing or watching or enjoying? Go ahead and lay it out there for the folk.
I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. I was actually doing that right before I got on here with you. Played for like an hour and 45 today. We had 5 wins on Tuesday. Whoop, whoop. I finished all of The Mentalist. I'm going to call it 6.5 seasons because that last season was like 13 episodes where all the other ones were like 22 to 24. Solid show. I would recommend to people who are into that kind of thing. As I said earlier, I finished Righteous Gemstones today, which I didn't even know was the series finale when I watched it. So that was news. And, like, once I realized it was the series finale that I just watched, I looked back on it mentally, and I was like, that's probably a fine place to wrap it all up. So, like, it was an all right show. Like, going into it, I thought it was going to be funnier than it was, only because like most of what I saw was just clips of like Baby Billy on Instagram and stuff. So I had more of a thought of like that's what the show is going to be, and like he is in the show more as it goes on, but like he's not in it as much in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And but there's funny stuff that happens. Like each season's got its own kind of like story going on. So and it's not like that long of a watch. Like each season's only like 9 episodes, and they're only like 30 to 40 minutes each. So it's not a slog. We started watching Tire season 2 the other day.
I don't know that. What's that one?
That's the Shane Gillis show on Netflix where he works at like a tire shop with his cousin.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we finished like 7 episodes of it. So I've got like 5 left to watch of that. I feel like I watched a movie, but I don't remember what it was if I did. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that's what I watched. If I remember a movie, I'll chime in, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't. But I feel like I did, but I don't think I did.
Fair. Okay. I kind of fell off Burn Notice. I was watching it. I was like intensely watching it, and then I think I kind of hit a point. Was like, man, I had a real healthy survey of Burn Notice. Let me stop for right now. I'll probably get back to it, but maybe not. You get full after a while. Oddly enough, I watch a lot of reactors on YouTube, people reacting to movies and shows and stuff like that there. And oddly enough, it's been a lot of people watching The Matrix for the first time, which made me want to go back and watch Matrix. And I have a pristine 4K copy of The Matrix. It's so if you ain't seen The Matrix in 4K, you should watch The Matrix in 4K because that disc is gorgeous. And so I watched The Matrix for the first time in a very long time. God, that movie's still so good. It holds up so well. And I'm just going to tell you to watch the damn Matrix. I'm also going to say, if you want to get down with the Matrix sequels, the direct sequels, not the one from like 2021. That's one that they kind of forced the Wachowskis to make. They basically told them, look, we're going to make another one. You could be a part of this or not. And so they chose to be a part of it so they would just make the movie without them. But if you watch Reloaded and Revolutions, they were a part of a multi-media situation. And so you also need to watch the Animatrix and, if possible, get the cutscenes from the Enter the Matrix video game. It's all of those together which make one story. And I know it's like people are like, oh, man, but it's like, come on, bro. You need to just make movies that people can just watch the movie. Sure thing. And that'd be great if you could. I'm telling you right now, if you can, your experience will be all the richer if you watch the Animatrix as well as get those cutscenes from the Animatrix video game that all help tie the last two Matrix movies, what I refer to as the last two Matrix movies, together and make for a much more cohesive bit of a viewing. I get if you ain't trying to put in that kind of effort. I'm just telling you, it's worth it. What am I playing? Mario Kart World on the Switch 2, Fast Fusion on the Switch 2, and I gave a go to the Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, which runs at a higher frame where it has a higher resolution and just is all and it has HDR and so forth. It's real fun. It's Breath of the Wild. If I had to put it down because I know it would quickly get its hooks in me. That's one of them games. Once you start playing, you're like, God bless, man. This is a great game. Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. So tell you right now, man, get down on that. Nintendo announced that they sold 3.5 million Switch 2s in 4 days. It is a record for video game console sales overall, not just Nintendo sales, but overall video game console sales. It's a big deal. It's selling well, and people seem to be enjoying it, and I fuck with that. What's been real funny is people finding people who were like, I'm not buying a Switch 2 on day one, and this is why. And then they show video of them or post of them having went and bought one. Because it's just like when people were boycotting Call of Duty some years back, and people went and looked on Steam, was like, this you? Because they just, people are liars. They pretend they want to be whatever, but the reality of it is you're going to go buy it because video games are fun. I am listening to A$AP Rock's Black Hole Soubrette, which is his new album. It's real good. I would tell you to fucking check that out if you're into alternative hip hop. The Clipse dropped Ace Trumpets, which is what the song with the lyrics earlier in the show came from. That is their first single off their upcoming album, Let God Sort Them Out. Cannot wait for that to come out. That's going to be a good time to be at there. I am currently listening to, however you wish to look at that, Christopher Moore's latest book. Christopher Moore, you know, if you've been a long-time listener to the show, is one of my favorite authors. And I just happened to be looking for something to read because I didn't have anything. And I noticed he had a new book out. And actually, you have that book. And I'm about 35% according to Libby through it. It is called Anima, Anima Rising. It's the second one of his books where he basically takes an artist and writes an alternative history around them. And in this case, the artist is Gustav Klimt, an Austrian artist, and he mixes in some Frankenstein into it, and it becomes just a very fun and a hilarious story. And I've been laughing so hard at this book; it's been very fun to go through it so far. Love Christopher Moore's writing style. Highly recommend you check out his works. I always recommend people check out Lamb. The story of Christ is told by his childhood best friend Biff. Hilarious book, and well worth the listen. But also, I'm very much enjoying Anima Rising, and I cannot wait to get through it. I'm excited to get back to it and listen to some more of it. Highly recommend Christopher Moore's works. But that is it, people. You know the deal. Please tune in every Thursday, as that's when we post shows. In this case, you got to be behind the paywall to have gotten the show today. Sorry about that, but it just is what it is. But we usually record around the 8:30 time, Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight, depending on what time of the year it is time. And you can typically join us in the chat on Twitch and or YouTube. If there's somewhere else you think we should be streaming to live, let us know. I will try to add that to the list. Make sure you like, comment on YouTube, and rate, review, subscribe, and share the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the show financially and have a few bucks tossed away, consider joining us over on Patreon. Members of the $5 tier get extra content each month and early access to new shows, just like today. They got a new show, and when you didn't. So we should. We also have merch available over at tpublic.com/user Stay Milk, all one word. And feel free to give us a call at 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We certainly love to hear from you, and hear from you we have. Box, you are gonna love this. You jump over to your Google Voice line, so I can read you our text message. What up, fellas? This is Carrie. This is that sample and that Am of the Asshole music has been bothering me since Tay made it. I knew it was from Memphis, but I didn't know who the artist was until now. Box, we have an answer to that sample that you've been kind of wondering about. Sitting with my new girlfriend's house, I got a divorce, but that's a story for another email, LOL. And this song came out of the blue. Apparently, it's an Underground Era Project Pat song. I'll link it below. That's all I wanted. Still loving the show and still love you guys. Also, a happy belated birthday to my Gemini bro Tatum, whose birthday is tomorrow, the 13th, and his boys. It was great hearing from him a couple of weeks ago. Sounds like he's been going through it a bit. I like that he seems to be coming out on the other side of it. I'll be sending positive energy to him and his family. Love you guys, Carrie. Carrie, great to hear from you. Thank you so very much for reaching out to us. It is wild that you managed to dig up that sample, because trust me, and Box was like, man, where does this song come from? So forth and so on. And we could not for the life of us figure it out. But Box, he did indeed send a link. I'm going to click on that link now. I'm not going to be able to play the song, but it is off of Project Pat's Underground album. Guess what the name of the song is, Box?
Chicken Fingers.
Bitch Smacking Killer.
So I was kind of close then, I guess.
You were 1,000% on that shit. That shit was so accurate that you didn't even know you were that accurate. That is why it is hilarious to me. But yeah, sure as shit, Box had called that and called it well. Project Pat's Bitch Smacking Killer is indeed the name of the song where that sample is derived from. It was funny being down south because randomly enough, Xander's girlfriend's father is a close friend of Project Pat's, and they have a ton of Project Pat, like old school mixtapes and shit like that there. I don't doubt if he has a copy of this song that I could probably borrow of him right now, if so be it. But also it's available on Spotify, title, all the little things. So that's crazy to me, and that's funny. Carrie, thank you so much for checking in on me. I'm sorry about the divorce. I'm glad you got a girlfriend. Life, man, it comes and goes. It's with the best of us. Trust me, I've lived through it myself. So you are going to be okay. Good to know you still out here supporting us and the show. I believe that's the operation. Our missing man is the 216's own Tatum 216. Always show him some love. Tomorrow is his birthday, so if you're watching this live, June 13th is his birthday. Send him some love. And if not, you're getting this later. Nothing wrong with sending him a belated birthday greeting from the time you hear this show. That is, of course, Lunchbox 2099.
Man, I want to go watch some Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers.
I am the internet's K-Rail713. Don't make me push you into traffic. We'll do this again next time. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.
Stays crunchy and milk.